Hello everyone, Jim Carey's from Smiles for Cinephiles here again. Right out of the box, Jaws is sending out subliminal messages. By this, I mean the DVD box. The very logo on it has a hidden message. Look closely at the W. If I get rid of the other letters, does it resemble anything? Like the FedEx arrow, once you have seen it, you can't unsee it again. The mouth and teeth about to eat the swimmer? It's there in plain sight before you even get the DVD out of its case. And there's more. Look closely at the swimmer. I will take away the distracting elements. There is a shark's dorsal fin and tail fins formed by the underside of the W and the A. A shark swimming right alongside her. So you put the film on. The title sequence again has more subliminal messages. Again with the lettering. The J is a giant hook. We are going fishing. This film is going to get its hooks into you. Notice the J is larger in here than on the box for emphasis. If we look at the A, turning it on its side and moving it away from the other letters reveals another gaping mouth with a tooth ready to bite. Definitely not by accident, because of the break in the upward and horizontal strokes. The W again, once separated, reveals incisors ready to bite. Before we even get going, the idea of biting, jaws and big fish are firmly planted in our subconscious mind. Still within the opening credits is the campfire scene. At the moment the girl pulls the lobster leg off, Steven Spielberg's name comes up. Seconds later, on the wide shot, she says, "He's an amputee." This is setting things up to come, and is set in the background to the characters we are focusing on, again giving you information without hitting you right in the face. The shark itself is famously absent for much of the film, but the shark's eye view is used a great deal throughout the movie. From this perspective, legs are a recurrent theme. We see shot after shot of the tempting drumsticks waving before the searching shark's eyes. Legs are pulled upon. The main characters drink to their legs.
You want a drink? Drink to your leg?
I'll drink to your leg.
Okay, so we drink to our legs.
Michael Brody is dragged from the water and the camera lingers to reveal that his legs are still intact, reassuring us. Showing legs and showing gruesome leg injuries are foreshadowing events that are to come. Chief Brody, flicking through his shark book, is preparing our minds for the horrors that await. The image of the shark biting through a boat's hull is enough to get Michael and Sean banned from playing in theirs, even on the jetty. This imagery sets up the orca's destruction in the third act. The second book scene that we see practically foreshadows all of the main plot points of the entire film. We see baiting of sharks, close-ups of great white sharks, a dead, caught shark conquered by man. We see people scuba diving with sharks. An image of a shark biting an oxygen tank. Direct premonition of the ultimate demise of our monster. We see a lookout tower. There is a picture of a shark feeding. There is an old photograph showing a huge shark's mouth with 6 men inside. This is telling us the 6 victims of the film. Chrissy is first, Alex Kintner second, Ben Gardner, and the estuary victim next. And Quint, meaning 5 in Latin, is the 5th victim. So who is the 6th victim, I hear you ask? The dog, Pipit. The book continues. We see fresh and healed wounds from shark bites in all their horror, the worst being a cadaver with a leg wound that has all but been severed. It is important to look closely at this gruesome scene as it reveals more horror than the impact of the first impression. Obviously a big bite is needed to do this to a leg, but think about it. The shark has to have bitten through the entire pelvis and abdomen of his victim because the thigh and lower leg are untouched. This emphasises the enormity of the monster in a subliminal way, maximising impact. Chief Brody's book is a storybook of sorts and has laid out the entire film. As well as the size of the shark bites being emphasised without being seen, we also see a representation of the immense strength of the shark as it pulls the jetty apart with a man on top of it. Spielberg is a master prankster too. He uses music to prime us to expect an attack and issues silence to tell us all is okay. He then swaps these around to threaten us when nothing is going to happen, and then hits us with a big attack with no warning at all. A great example of this is the cardboard fin prank as a prelude to the real estuary attack. During the prank there is no music. Note the pointed rifle of men in boats to destroy the shark. Then the real attack builds. The music returns. The shark swims past Sean and is heading right for Michael. Only at the last minute does the red-bottom boat intercept. We see a low swooping flyby shot to emphasise how close a call this really was. After the shock has eased, we close in on Brody, looking out to sea, the zoom in on the sea telling us that his mind must take him out there to face his biggest fear and to conquer this monster. A superb microcosm within the film is the Killer Shark video game. This is an unreal simulation wherein man is trying to kill a murderous fish, mirroring the film plot if you will. This also acts as to portend the destruction of the giant shark with a gun. When Quint is first introduced, he is drawing his nails across a man inside a shark's mouth. An awful sound over an awful scene, foreshadowing his own demise. We see him exit the story inside a shark's mouth. Hooper is a great clairvoyant.
They're all gonna die.
The expert lays out shark characteristics,
Tiger shark's like a garbage can, it'll leave anything.
setting up the shark's oxygen tank snack, and even places the explosive potential in the mind of the audience.
Damn it, Mark! This is compressed air.
Well, what the hell kind of a knot was
You
that?
pulled the wrong one. You screw around with these tanks and they're gonna blow up.
Smile, you son of a...
My favourite scare of the film is also a Hooper scene, and the subtlety of the yellow water let us know he is definitely wearing a wetsuit. Another Hooper scare represented by biological malfunction is shown with his nerves and a dry mouth when he gets into the cage.
I got no spit.
Hooper also sets up Quint's Waterloo. The lone tank left behind breaks Quint's grip, sliding him towards that chomping maw. Brody has plenty of setting up too, building tension and anticipation.
Some bad hat, Harry.
This scene really sets up the horrific death of Alex Kintner. And the missing dog and destroyed Lilo really sell it. Even the mayor is on the setup.
Alright, fellas. Let's cut this ugly son of a bitch down before it stinks up the whole island.
Foreseeing the shark's destruction and the fish's final fate.
Harv, you and Carl take it out tomorrow and dump it in the drink.
The mayor's stubbornness is also reflected in the backdrop. His one-track thinking to keep the beaches open, stating it's his way or the highway, with the sign coming right out of his head. Other signage backs up Brody's showing the mayor his only way out as he exits to the curtain. The mayor's cowardice is also key. He recruits volunteer swimmers with no intention of doing it himself. Setting up Brody as the hero, the man afraid of the sea, having to go to face his shark demons. The mayor's jacket says it all, Anchor with a capital W. This classic movie of suspense, tension, shock value and horror is a masterpiece of cinema, and remains one of the true greats 40 plus years after it first took a huge bite out of the cinema going psyche. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. I will try to upload content every week, so click the bell for regular updates, check out my other videos, like them, share them, and please let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. See you all again soon.